So we last time we looked at the D minor scale, talked about the importance of positions. Yeah, very very important. You know what position you're in. Little Henry there was playing with that first finger. So fifth position, seventh position, ninth position, and then 17th position. Right. So depending on what finger you might, if you use your third finger here, you're in fifth position, and then that's seventh position if I do that. And then I use my fourth finger for that note, so that technically puts me in the 14th position. Oh no, I do that, and then ninth, so 5, and then ninth. First finger's at the 9th fret, and then 14th. And so that helps me. It's like a grid. It's like a reference point, right? So I got to know at all times what position we're in. And then I think we looked back at the pieces in E minor a little bit, and we talked a lot about snap motion. Moving from one chord to another. So let's take a look. I'd thoroughly recommend you try this exercise out here, just to get around the scale a little bit. So I'll play this for you. Okay, so a few different things I'd recommend with this one. I think this would be a good rest stroke exercise. Try it with rest stroke. You're all familiar with what a rest stroke is? Because I have a funny story about rest stroke. When I've been playing guitar for a couple of years, and I was playing pretty advanced pieces, and I went for my first ever lesson with a teacher who wasn't my dad. My dad was my first teacher, and then I went to my first ever lesson with another teacher, and he asked me, "Do you know what a rest stroke is?" And I said, "Nope, I don't know what a rest stroke is." And he was like off. He was so shocked. I was playing, because you can play a lot of stuff. You can play guitar without rest stroke, but I think rest stroke is a really important technique, and it helps our tone development a lot. Even if we don't use rest stroke, it helps our tone development a lot because we're pushing the string down. So rest stroke is where we basically rest our finger on the string before it, right? Before what we're plucking, right? So that's a rest stroke. Okay. So you can try that if you want really quickly. If you maybe the less experienced ones, even Henry can try it if he wants. You can try a rest stroke just on an open string. You can choose the D if you want. On the top E is good. Yeah, that's it. So you can really, because you're pushing the string down and resting your finger, you can really dig in. Or scoop is another word I like to say, scoop. You can scoop down into the string and get this really big, full sound, yeah? That's it. Great job. That's it. That's a rest stroke. Have you ever done that before?
Yeah, we
You
have.
you've done rest strokes before? Great. Okay.
We
Awesome.
we in our practice we go through your technique boot camp thing, and so you have the exercise to do the rest stroke.
Very good. Very good. Oh yeah, very good. Excellent. Yeah, that is in the boot camp. I would have forgotten that. So yep, there you go. It's in the boot camp. Um, Okay, yeah. So if you want to learn more, check out the Technique Bootcamp. But yeah, applying a rest stroke to something like this can be really great just for for getting it going and playing a kind of like a single line, and really projecting your sound. Can you hear the kind of the big sound? You can get a really big bold sound from a rest stroke. So that's one thing I'd suggest. Another one is bursts. So let me say chunks and bursts. Chunks and bursts. So you can practice. You can break this down into small chunks like that. Something like something like that. And you can play it slow and fast. And then slow the next one. And then fast. And slow. It's the third chunk. And fast and so on, yeah? I think that would give you a great, if you did this scale and that's a great scale workout there if you do those things. Yeah. Does that all make sense? Any questions? No questions? All right. Yeah, got a question? Yeah.
Is this scale here, it does change position in this exercise?
No, it doesn't. This one does not. It stays in the first position. Yeah. I think partly because if it did go up, if it did this kind of pattern and it went up there, it would be a lot. You'd be going, that kind of thing. So I think they've kept it in the first position. Okay. So let's take a look at this piece here. So there's only one piece in D minor, and then we get some various sort of collection of pieces here, and then we have these exercises, which I think Larry started and said they were really helpful. So I think we could probably just focus on the D minor piece here and this exercise at the end, and then if you need extra material, you can always look at the stuff in between. Okay, so let's take a quick look at this piece here. This by Karoli. This is quite long. It's a pretty lengthy piece here. So I will play it, and I'd like your thoughts about the form and the keys. Okay, form and keys. All right. It's pretty, yeah. It's not super straightforward, but I think hopefully you'll get a sense of, you want to keep in mind of like what material is repeating, what melodies are repeating, coming back, that can really help you identify the form. Okay, so here we go. Okay, there we go. So it has quite a few sections, quite a few repeats in it. What do we think the form of this piece could be?
Maybe like it's kind of close to rounded binary, but it doesn't repeat like very much of the A section. It comes back a little bit at the end, but
Rounded binary. Okay, interesting. Yeah, because we do get this A section at the start and then it does come back at the end.
I think there's a C section in there as well.
Yes, so this section we can call C. We only hear it one time. It's repeated. Well, it kind of, the repeat signs kind of make it harder to identify this form. So, but this A section comes back actually another time in the middle as well. So now we're starting to fill in the gaps here. We've got A. You can see that there's this section here which is quite different. So that we call that B. So now we're getting A, B, A, C, A. Who knows the name of that?
Is it rondo form?
Yeah, rondo form. Very good. Yeah. It's quite common for rondo form to be in 6/8 and to be quite lively. Pretty, usually it's a brisk tempo. And yeah, the main feature is that the A section kind of keeps coming back. So A, B, A, C, A. What about keys? The A section, we can say that's in D minor. This is the key of D minor. What about the B section?
Does it go to F major?
Yes, excellent. And that's related to D minor. How?
It's parallel, relative.
Relative, very good. They share the same key signature. Relative major, awesome. Okay, and then we go back to the A section, D minor. Okay, what happens in the C section here?
A major?
It ends on an A major. But it's not the key of A major, and there's a little move to A there, and it ends on A, the dominant of D minor. If we look at these two measures, and then these two measures, and then these two measures, and then these two measures, there's a bit of a harmonic pattern happening. So we're going, so that's, if I chunk that's that chord, and then it's going to this, and then this one's going that, and this one's going, and then
So it goes 5 of G, then 5 of A.
that's it. So we're using the, what do we call that? 5 of?
5 of 5?
5 of, well, it could be 5 of 5. It's not always 5 of 5 though. This one is 5 of, this is G minor here. We're in the key of D minor. So G minor is what chord in the key of D minor?
Or?
Yeah, so we're going 5 of 4 here. 5 of 4, and then we go to 4. Then we go 5 of 5. Here we go 5 of 5. 5 of 5, and then we go to 5. And then here we go 5, 1. A7 to D minor. And then here we go again 5 of 5 with a G sharp and an E7 going to 1. So that's a D chord, that's G minor, that's E G B, right? E G sharp B. That's A C E, A C sharp E. That's A7 without the A in it, but it's pretty much A7. A C sharp E G. So there's C sharp E G there, and then we go to D minor, and then E7 to A. A is 1 in relation to E7, but it's really functioning like 5. I'll put it in brackets, because that takes us then back to the key of D minor for the final A section. So I'll play that section because it's quite interesting harmonically. There's a lot going on. So it's going, that's the 5 of 4. I'll play D minor first. There's that tonic. So then it's going 5 of 4 and then 4. 5 of 5, 5. 5, 7, 1. 5 of 5, 5. And then back to 1, D minor. Okay? So it's a sequence of tension and resolution as well. We get the tension, resolution, tension, resolution, tension, resolution, tension, resolution, but the real, it kind of really resolves here, like the D minor. That's preparing us back for the A section. This is like an open ending, yeah, for that section. So we're expecting completion to follow. Okay, so that's, yeah, that can be chunked really, really easily. You can chunk every bar of the C section there. Chunk that 3, 1, 2, and then slide 3 up. We're at the 3rd position, slide 3 up and half bar the 3rd fret, and then 4th position, it tells you there, 4th position, and then 5th position. The 3rd finger is just sliding up the whole time. 3rd finger, and then stay in the 5th position here for that chord, and then you shift back to the 1st position here, 1st position here, and 1st position there, A chord. So that can be chunked. That's a nice progression to chunk there. Okay, any questions about that?
We've never really played bar chords really. Is like, how would you read that? Like, what are they saying to do there? But
wow, great. Yeah, great question. So if you see a C, it stands for I don't know how to say Sejilla, I think that's how you say it in Spanish, which means bar. Is that how we say it, George? George knows a bit of Spanish. Sejilla.
American Spanish is cejilla or cejilla,
and Spanish
is with a cejilla.
Oh, cejilla, yeah.
It's literally a little eyebrow.
A little eyebrow? What do you mean?
Yeah, ceja is eyebrow.
Oh,
so it's the shape of the capo or the
eyebrow.
finger.
I didn't know that. Ceja. Interesting.
And the iya ending just makes it small, like Juana and Juanita is.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Very cool. There we go. A bit of etymology for the word that I didn't know. Thanks, George.
Eyebrow or eyelash? Hang on. I double check.
Okay.
No, I begin to doubt.
Eyebrow kind of makes more sense, but we'll see. Yeah, because eyelash is very. I didn't see that relating to this as much, but yeah. So that's the common. The common. Sometimes you'll see just a B, but more common to see a C. If you see a slash through the C, that means half. You got it,
Eyebrow.
George?
Yeah, actually, that little A, I've never seen that before,
Yeah.
but it does make sense in writing Spanish that the A adds the I,
Yeah.
and a little O would add the EO.
Yeah.
So that's just a bit of,
Tehia, yeah. So
and it's
yeah.
double L.
Double L. I almost had it. Double L. Yeah.
So is this a 19th century book you've got?
Yes.
Yeah, I've never seen it written like that.
C with the A. Yeah, I've seen that a little bit. Yeah, especially more in the 19th century. I think you'd see it. 19th century publications, but to this day we still use C. You know, it's just it's such a music is such an interesting. It's Italian very often, but then there's a bit of Spanish. I guess in guitar music you'd probably see more Spanish, just because of the history, more than other. Like I don't think on the piano or the violin you get Spanish indications. I think it's the same for the right hand. You know, when you see these markings, like PIMA, right? That's
Yeah,
also Spanish for pulgar, indice. How do you say it, George?
Indice.
Indice, medio,
That's good.
and annular.
And
Annuli,
Anilla?
anilla, something like that,
I
right?
don't know.
Very similar. It's close to annular. We call that the ring finger, annular finger. The middle finger, is it what we call it? The middle. It sounds rude when I say that. The middle finger, the index finger, index finger, and then the thumb. Pulgar is probably the least related to the English word thumb, but that's where we get PIMA from. It's Spanish, and that's like stuck with us now. Same with that marking. So that's, if you see slash through it, it's a full half bar. That would mean full bar usually. Although sometimes it's generic, and sometimes it'll just say C, and it could be anything, half, full, 3/4. So sometimes you see sometimes you'll see 3/4 as well, like that. That means bar 4 strings. So in this case, it's actually, they're not telling us how many strings to bar. They're just saying bar the first, but you can actually do a half bar for this one. So if you can bar, you bar two. You can actually bar 2 strings. So you can just bar the second and first strings there. That means you flatten your finger out like that, and you're basically fretting 2 strings with your first finger, and then that's barring 2 strings. Very common to bar 3. That's a half bar 3, and then sometimes 4 or 5, but most common will be full or half. Full or half bars will be the most common. Okay, so yeah, a new technique. I guess it is one of the first times we've seen it. We didn't get it in this one. Yeah, it is the first one, isn't it? I think it's the first time. So there's. Yep.
I think there was one in the E minor piece, the first E minor piece, I think it was.
Oh yeah, good one. Yep, there it is. There's one there. Yep. Bar the third, and that's the same. So that's actually just barring 2 strings. So they're probably doing that you know, to gradually introduce you to the to barring, because if you fret one string, you're not barring, you know. So 2 strings is the minimum amount of strings to start the technique of barring. So here it's 2 strings, and then it's kind of the same here. This one is that's half. That's a half bar there. That one. That's, you don't have to bar that one, but yeah, you can keep. Sometimes it's kind of acts like a guide finger almost. So like in this passage, it's going like this. Yeah, sometimes you'll see it indicated where you don't need to, but it's acting. It's just sliding up like that. So in this case, it's going sliding, slide up, half bar, slide it up, slide it up. And then actually there's a tricky one here. You see that's a 4 string, that's a 3/4. 3/4 bar there. That's that measure there. And then back to, and then back to half bar and a half bar there. Oh, sorry. Oh, no, I already went through that. We're here, and then you let go, and then when you get to the first position, there's no more barring. So that's a really great passage to practice some barring if you've never tried it before. I would encourage you to first just try to play the chords, yeah, just chunk, get that, and really try to notice how the fingers, the third and the first finger, the third finger and the first finger are like guiding. Right, 3 and 1 slide up from this chord to this one, and then they slide up again, and then they slide up again, 3 and 1, and then you stay, and then you shift. Maybe we can try it. We've got a bit of time. I think we got a bit of time. That's probably the best spot to work on. So yeah, maybe we can try that. And now you're really starting to you know, go into the higher positions of the fretboard. So your knowledge of the notes starts to maybe get hazy when you get, you know, to the 4th, 3rd, 4th, 5th positions. But if you just trust in the process, you're one finger per fret. So when you get to the 3rd position, it does tell you the string, right? So it tells you the string, and then you just put your finger down, 1 finger per fret. It will find that note on the string. Yeah. So let's try that first chord. So the first one is to half bar, just half bar the 2nd fret. So you're barring 3 strings. You're covering 3 strings, flattening your first finger out, and then you're going to add your 3rd finger on the 4th string. They actually haven't told you 4th string there. That's the 4th string. And then your 2nd finger on the 2nd string for D. Oopsie. Someone's up fret too high there. Who's playing that? I think Sophia's up fret too high.
Other way.
So 2nd.
Like that.
That's it. Yeah.
So does the that? Oh, I was looking at the wrong thing. I was looking at the next line.
That's not how far it is. 3 strings off.
Yeah.
You're doing 4.
Yeah, and then your 2nd finger is going to go on the 2nd string.
Second, you're on the 3rd.
Yeah, that's it. I think you guys got it. Yes, you guys got it. Great. Then the next one. So hold that chord and then slide it up 1 fret, and let go of your 2nd finger. Yeah. Go for it. That's the next chord. That's the G minor chord. And then the next chord is slide it up a fret and then add your second finger back onto the second string. Yes. And then the next chord is slide it up a fret. Again, slide it up a fret. Put your second finger on the third string. Yeah, that's great. And then the next chord is lift your third finger off and bar one more string. So you're going to bar 4 strings with your first finger. That's it. Great job. Great job. Awesome. Awesome. Fantastic. Fantastic. And I saw Emma and Larry kind of following along as well. So that was great. Do you guys, everyone get that? Emma and Larry as well? Were you able to follow along with that? Excuse me. Excuse me. Great. Great. So that's a great passage to practice, and I think it's been very well chosen to, I mean, it's going to be, that could be a bit tiring for your hand if you've never done much barring before, but because there's so much sliding, it feels pretty comfy, yeah, to slide up and just add a finger or remove a finger from those chords. So yeah, so that's a good spot to practice. If we go back a little bit here, again with guide fingers and everything, this thing's really important. So at the beginning here, you can see the third finger is really active in the first line. It's sliding, the third finger is sliding around. So it starts on the D and you're in the first position. Then it slides down to the C sharp and the second fret, and then it slides up to the E. And you play 3 and 1, and then they both slide down, D and F. So this is where we talked about this type of practice where you can just play these notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that distills it. That line, it kind of distills what you need to do, how you need to move. So you just go like that, that. That. Maybe we can all try that together. You want to all try that all together. So we'll play D and F first. Play D and F. Third finger on the. I hear an open B from someone. So third finger on the second string. Yeah.
You have third string.
I don't.
Yeah, you do. That's the second string. Yeah, you go.
That's it. Great. Right, so that's the first one, and then you just slide your third finger down a fret to C sharp to the second fret, and then you'll have, yeah. Someone is not on the second fret. We're going to be on the second fret, C sharp.
You open E. Yeah.
That's it. Great. Then we slide that to the third position and put our first finger on the third fret of the first string on G. Yes. Oops, someone is third finger. So now one finger per fret. So the third finger should be on the 5th fret.
There you go.
Yeah. And then you slide both of those down to the first position. Yeah. So if you get smooth with that, then playing this that first line shouldn't be too bad. This is a parallel period. I think this piece uses a lot of parallel periods, so then that comes back again. Cool. And then we go on to the B section in F major, and there's another parallel period, you see that? So there's the question, 4 bars, and then the answer. Question and the answer. And then, yeah, we're getting that barring the first fret a little bit there. But there's a nice chunk. You can see the first finger is just anchored down through this, so the first finger can just stay where it is, and you can find the notes in that. So that's pretty much how that works. I think that'll be more challenging for the right hand and for the thumb jumping around. So it's doing, you know, different arpeggios, right, with the right hand. So a bit more right hand focused there. Then back to the A section, and then we already covered that, and then back to the A section again. So we've sort of gone through the whole piece kind of quickly there, but yeah. Okay. So we've got a bit of time left, so let's look at this. Let's look at these exercises too. We haven't summarized things, but we can do that very quickly right at the end. So these exercises here, oh, very good. Looks like they're kind of bunched into two groups here. The first 4 and then the second 4. So the first 4, your fourth finger is on the A, on the 5th fret of the first string. Wow, and then you're alternating. Oh, that's interesting. Wow, that's like a tongue twister. Yeah, interesting. Wow, that's quite. But that's really great. That's great for both hands, you know, because you're alternating with the right hand, thumb, index thumb, middle thumb, and then with the left hand, you're getting that stretch in the first position, which yeah, that is quite challenging, even for some experienced players, you know, getting that first position, or technically the second position. Getting
I
that
find as I try and
yeah.
place you that, Daniel, my forefinger drifts back.
Yeah,
on
it's very
the,
common. It'll start to
push up.
pull. Yeah, it'll start to pull up. The fourth finger will start to pull up. Yep.
Really got to concentrate on keeping it up there.
Yeah,
It
you gotta-
slides
you gotta-
back.
That's right. You got to get this. I think there's a one thing that really helps. You see what a lot of people do is they don't rotate, and so if you don't rotate, it feels like you have to stretch like that, your fourth finger. But if you rotate, what I mean is like rotate like that, you're essentially bringing your fourth finger to the fret a little bit, and then you don't have to stretch. It doesn't feel like you have to stretch as much. So Larry, I think you could rotate more still. Rotate. So it means bringing this side of the hand, where your pinky is, that side of the hand, bring it closer to the fretboard. Yeah, can you bring it even closer? So like
Even
yeah,
okay. So,
but you'll rotate. Your elbow might come in a bit more too, a little bit, and you'll bring the.
okay.
But you want to kind of connect that elbow with. You're kind of connecting the elbow with that side of the hand too.
Yeah.
So that it kind of rotates you down like that. I think you can still
Actually,
get a bit more.
Yeah, there's less stretch with that once you do that.
Yeah, there's still more. I think you could get even more rotation. Maybe
that's
bring,
a
and
new,
you can bring your thumb. Yeah, new sensation. You can bring your thumb closer to you a little bit too. Closer to you. Bring your thumb closer to you.
Slide it down a bit.
You.
Yeah.
I mean, like this way, like closer to you.
Up a bit. Up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah?
it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. So that's quite a different position now. Your wrist is straighter
Yeah.
and your pinky is curled. Yeah. See the difference?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
See
So
the
I think my
difference?
thumb was too low.
Yeah. That's
Too
also a
low.
very common problem that people have. They put their thumb, even if it's thumb
Yeah.
like halfway in this position, it's halfway. Yeah, you might want to bring your thumb. Oh, halfway might be okay.
Yeah.
It might be okay. Halfway.
Actually, that's
not-
less of a stretch having the thumb higher.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
less of a stretch, but it's also because you've made that little
The
rotation.
rotation.
So that little
Yeah.
that rotation makes a big difference. Then you don't feel like you're stretching anymore. That's the secret, right? That's really
Right.
that's why it looks more effortless. You know, when you get that, it is more effortless. You're not stretching anymore. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a really great exercise for everyone to find that ideal position here. And then once you have that, to keep it So while these notes are all changing with the left hand, you're changing notes around. You want to keep that position. Don't try not to alter. Try not to move around. You want to keep it quite still. Keep the position still. So
Wow. Yeah,
then you
that's
get
really
different.
good.
Yeah, you get different
Yeah.
varieties, different patterns and stuff there. So that's the first four. It's all basically the same, but with different notes in the bottom for those first four. It gets harder though because here you're going to the sixth string. So for number
Yeah.
3, that's a pretty big stretch across, right? But it's very, very good. It's very good training for your hands. Yeah, yeah. That's it, Larry. Very good. And then so the next 4 it's bit of a different challenge here, and this is great. This is a really good. It's like sometimes technical exercises are like taking the most irritating aspects of guitar playing and focusing on them. That's kind of what doing here, and it's doing that here as well, where you have to sometimes you have to squish. Like this feels, this can feel very awkward if you're not, especially this one, and this one too. It can feel very squished if you're not in the right position, if you're not rotating correctly. So if I don't rotate, like a big stretch here, it's bent and it's all tense and everything. But if I rotate, look at it, see the difference? Much more relaxed than this. Yeah, so that's what the next 4 kind of focus on. And that's number 6, and then number 7. Very good, and number 8, very intense. They're great. It's a great little series of exercises there, and they kind of they progress a little bit. It's very clever. It's very well designed there. Okay, so that's what we have right at the end. So yeah, you can really focus on your rotation. Make sure you're using a mirror is very helpful for that kind of thing, because you can't actually see. It's hard to see this, you can see it, but you don't see the effect, right? Like if I bend my wrist, it doesn't, from where I'm sitting, it doesn't look like it's bent. But when I see it there, I know it's very obvious, very plain that it's really bent. And then straight, even playing with straight fingers, like it's not super obvious from here, but then from there, very obvious. One of the most, the hardest things to see is this side of your wrist. You can't actually see it unless you're very flexible. Can't see this side of the wrist unless you have a mirror, and a lot of people will bend this wrist excessively because you can't see it. So if you bend it like that, I can't tell from here, but I can see there. So I'll straighten that. It doesn't look much different from here, but there it's very different. So check those wrists, yeah? Keep those wrists pretty straight. They don't have to be, you don't want to force them straight. They can be a little bit, a little bit relaxed. They can bend a little bit. But like you can just tell intuitively if you see it in the mirror. You can just tell when it's too much. All right, so let's do a couple minutes of summary here. What did you guys take? What are your takeaways from this method book, what we've studied, starting right back from the rhythms and the pieces, the arpeggios, the keys?
I got a lot out of the rhythm section. That was really helpful to concentrate on that, and I need to go back and do that again to keep renewing that. So that was particularly good for this book so far. Yeah, so that's
Yep.
been a big learning, and revisiting obviously the keys has been helpful as well. But
That's great.
this one, the exercise of, and the first one as well, is a good introduction. This is a lot harder, so it's really highlighted some of
Yep.
my areas that I need to work on. That's been really quite good.
Yep. Yep. That's great. That's great. Yeah, there's probably some, you might want to cherry pick a little bit and keep, like that very last page. I think it's a keeper. I think the rhythms are a keeper as well. They're really
Yeah,
good to practice, and then yeah, maybe there are some specific pieces or something as well.
yeah. In your practice section, you said 5 minutes on the rhythms, but I got buried there. I ended up spending most of the
Yeah,
session going back and revisiting the rhythms. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, 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 yeah.
that's really good practice. Yeah,
Yeah. I think it's worth it. When it solves so much, um, about so it solves so many problems. I think, relating to reading rhythm and playing rhythm.
yeah.
So I think it's worth the time, investing the time. Yeah.
And that whole discipline of identifying the initial rhythm and seeing how that's repeated and then getting that
Yes.
down before
That's
we dive into it is a good discipline I found to learn new pieces. Yeah.
yes, yes, very, very important. Yep. Great, great. Okay, there's
I
Larry. Thanks, Larry. Yeah. Emma.
I found the rhythms like really helpful too, especially practicing them with the metronome. I mean, I used to I could not play with the metronome at all. I just like dreaded it so much because it was so hard, and now I'm like really actually enjoying playing scales with the metronome, and so I think the rhythms really helped, and then those scales and the scale exercises from the keys, different keys, I think those are really helpful just to learn the scales, and then actually those exercises at first were a little tricky for me, so then practicing rest stroke as well.
Very good, very good. That's music to my ears when someone says I enjoy the metronome now. Very good.
I think I didn't until I think it was pretty much I started when we watched your practice what one of
Concert.
the yeah, I think it was your practice one of your YouTube live streams where you were practicing with the metronome. I'd never heard anybody actually play with the metronome before, and I've never for what 8.5 years never wanted to play. I knew you're supposed to, but it's like I just couldn't and didn't thought it was kind of a bother to hear it. But then when I heard it actually, if you actually play it right, so I've been playing things to the metronome, and it's well, once I heard it actually played how you're supposed to, actually with the metronome was the beat. I thought that was I can do it now.
Wow. 8.5 years not using a metronome. There you go. Very good. Very good. I'm so glad that yeah. That was my intention, with those live streams to kind of like, because I guess you don't always see the work behind the practice behind the playing. So I'm glad I'm really glad that was the goal. So to encourage people to say like, this is the reality, right? This is the reality. Like, this is the kind of work that's helped me, and I think that's the kind of work that you need to do to make progress and to play at a more polished kind of level. So excellent.
Yeah, I think those live streams too really got me like practicing with the metronome much more consistently after seeing you do it. It just sounds so good. Like when you actually do it like right, it just sounds so good.
Yep. Yep. There is something satisfying. Yeah. Even after all these years that I've been using the metronome, come back to it. There's something satisfying about when you do. Yeah. When you play with it, it keeps it I guess it puts a certain discipline into your playing, I think, and it's just a very easy way to make progress in your practice. Is just to put the metronome on and try to play with it. It's not a very uncomplicated, you know. It's almost like a game, just to play with the metronome. That's it. Awesome.
I think from the actual Arenas book, I think the arpeggio exercises, I think those are good to get all the different arpeggios, because those arpeggios come up a lot, the fingerings and things in other songs, and so I think they're good to learn how to do them so that you can, when they come up in other songs, you're good at doing them.
Yeah, you're talking about these ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a keeper as well, I reckon, because it's like just on one page you get so much there, because you get the different formulas there. So it's in some ways more, I would say, this could be controversial, you know, what I'm going to say, but it could be more valuable than Giuliani's 120 right hand studies, which that's sort of like the, you know, the go-to, the standard arpeggios that guitarists practice, and they're great. You know, I put them in one of my books, but this is almost, I think, more valuable than those, because it's a more interesting chord progression. You get, instead of 120, you don't really need to practice 120 formulas. Just 10. I think if you master these with that progression, your arpeggio playing will be pretty good. You know, really, yeah. So.
Yeah, I thought they were really good for the A finger, especially number 10. Just switching between M and A, M and A.
Yep. Great. Anyone else?
I think they're good for also when you're trying to, like, composing, giving you different ideas for. I think I used one of them. I wrote something and giving you different ideas for how to use the chord notes in different ways. I think I used one of the patterns in something I wrote a while ago.
Very good. Wait, what did you write?
I think, hold on, let me see, I might be able to find it.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that is another overlooked, application for these arpeggios. Very overlooked, that you can use them for composing, arranging, improvising.
I found it here, hold on. Copying the link. Copy, let me see here. Go, oopsie. Send it to you in the chat here. I'll send it to everybody. If you don't want to know. There you go. I think that's the one. That was the one I think I did with from those exercises.
Ah, very nice. You mind if I have a playthrough?
Yeah, it's fine.
Wow, this is pretty difficult. Yeah, very nice. Great composition. Yeah. Wow. That's quite difficult to play though. How are you going with that? Playing that? Are you pretty comfortable with that or playing it? Or more, do you play it on the piano more or
I would play it on the piano.
you play
Yeah,
it on the piano?
I wasn't even playing the guitar. I don't think when I wrote this.
Ah, right. Wow.
I
Yeah.
just I liked writing for guitar better because you don't have to come up with all these complicated left hands that pianos play.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's really nice. It's actually quite advanced, on the guitar. Um, but it works, it is actually very playable. Um, but I really like having the melody in the middle voice like that. That's really nice there. And, nice ternary form, ABA, going to the dominant in the middle. Very nice, beautiful. Keep going. Write some more. Yeah.
I did one other one that I have written down, and I think that one's a little easier. Hold on. I can sort of play that. If I tried, I could probably, I could probably learn this one, at least some of it if I tried. Hold on. This was the first one I wrote using after watching your composition boot camp, I
Uh-huh.
used that was the first one I did. Using kind of pretty much
Using the template and stuff.
Yeah, well, I didn't actually use the
Oh,
actual
it's-
temp.
Yeah. It's different.
I played that one all the way through on the piano.
Wow,
but
this
yeah.
is also quite advanced. Oh my goodness. Wow.
That one I think's easier to play on the guitar. I've been able to play some.
Yeah, okay, a little bit, I guess a little bit easier, yeah. Do that here. Very nice, very nice. That's, I'd say, my thinking is it's just as advanced, if not more, than the other one that you wrote. I'm not sure how much of that you played through the whole thing.
On the piano, not the
Oh,
guitar.
on the piano, on the piano. Yeah, on the piano. Okay, yeah, on the guitar, that's quite challenging. That is quite challenging. That'd be like a grade 5 piece, maybe something like that. Possibly even grade 6, something like that. So, wow, yeah, very nice. Very nice. You got a great sense of form, and so you learned about like parallel periods and form and 1, 4, 5 chords. And
Yeah.
you just That's great. That's awesome. Goes to show with even with those limited resources. I mean, we're always limited when we compose, right? It's limitations that we set, but those are fairly strict limitations. Yet you can create something, very nice, very beautiful from that. So, yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Well, keep it going. There is a composing pathway in CCG, so you can go through that, and if you want to continue to learn more about composition.
I was wondering, because you had mentioned going through only one pathway at a time, but I was wondering, like, we're going through the beginner pathway for guitar, but I was wondering, can you do two if you're playing on different instruments and you're more advanced on one? Like, I can play a lot harder songs on the piano than I could, I'm not, like, a lot farther on the piano than on the guitar.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, I think you could do the beginner pathway for the guitar and the composing pathway for the piano. Sure. Yeah.
What about just a question I had about the foundations composing? It like restarts every year, doesn't it?
The live sessions do, yes.
And so that's, you only attend those if you're on the composition, the composing pathway?
Yeah, if foundations is in your pathway, then you can join. I mean, you can join in any way if you want, but yeah, if it's in your pathway that you've chosen, then try to come along. But it is also designed to be self study if you want as well. So you can get into that, and
okay. I was wondering because
you can get into
I'm
that.
not done at the beginner pathway, but
yeah,
if it was like appropriate for me to join, I would have liked to at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. You can do that. I think for someone like yourself, I think you'd self-study pretty well as well. You'd get through things pretty quick, and this year the groups were quite small, so we were able to do other things. We didn't actually stick to this the whole time. Like, we started writing fugues for the last couple of months, and that's a bit more advanced, but the people in the group could handle it, and I think they learned quite a bit from that. So if the groups are still small, we can kind of do that. And you can hop. That's the beauty of technology, right? You can hop on any time and go through the workshops. There is the workshops library as well. If you're like me, I've got these, wireless, these Bluetooth headphones, I can listen to anything while I'm walking, while I'm washing the dishes, while I'm cleaning. It's like you can read a book, listen to a book, or listen to a podcast, or training, like if you're learning something. So the workshops library might be also good for that. Although these are pretty lengthy, workshops here. But if you want to kind of binge, just like keep things going, you go to the library, and then workshops library, and there'll be more material than what's in those programs there. So if you go to like this year's foundations workshops, you'll find extra material there. Right, we talked about rounded binary, someone composing a piece based on Julia Florida. We talked about here's where we went into counterpoint, we went into fugue, first and second species counterpoint, fugue again. So there's 22 videos, so that's about 22 hours there of workshops. So I would just you can just kind of churn through it at your own pace. Like there's no limit to these. These days we can learn like so much in so cram it in, just listen. So I'd encourage you to check out those workshops. Just sometimes just listening, you don't have to. I mean, I always encourage you to do stuff. I think doing the tasks and things is always better, but just listening, pick up on a lot from that. So I tend to say a lot of the same things, positions, chunking, primary chords. You know what I mean? It's like I tend to use the metronome. So you'll hear those like threads a lot throughout those workshops. But then there are some topics where counterpoint, for example, that's very intense, very intensive, so check
Thank
out those. Yeah.
Does Foundations composing the live classes, does that go through December, or you take a break during or something?
No, we're gonna take a break from that as well. Yeah, take a break from Foundations. We've done a lot of work there for the year, and then we'll restart next year. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, how many members we'll have and joining us and stuff, so it will depend a bit on the direction we go in there. So if you guys know anyone who might be interested in joining CCGs, it might be a good time. New Year's resolutions or start of a new year, good opportunity to learn. So please, feel free to spread the word. And I think we better wrap up there. So very good. Thanks, guys. It's been a lot of fun to explore this method book. I think we'll get into the second book next year for this session. So we'll up the ante a little bit. Be interesting, but by all means, you can continue working on the hope you can use at least some of the stuff from this book for a little while. And I've learned quite a bit just from going through it in depth. So enjoy the rest of 2024, and if I don't see you before the end of the year, Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.
So much.
Thanks everyone. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.